welcome everybody to my very first show podcast. Having Josiah here, my very first guest, guys. Welcome to the show. Josiah, I know that we were just talking a little bit not too long ago, getting to know a little bit more about you, but to the audience, to the people who are watching, tell us who you are and a little bit about what you do and even how long you've been doing it.
Yeah, definitely. So my name is Josiah Krol, and I'm a real estate investor and agent in Phoenix, Arizona. I've been doing it only for about a year, and I basically just got started. I guess so. My family were real estate investors growing up. So my dad and my grandmother were both full-time, kind of big-time real estate investors, doing apartment deals, multifamily, doing flips, doing stuff like that. So around the dinner table, they were always talking about, oh, this apartment deal, oh, this, this neighborhood we're going to develop, this, how to get a loan, stuff like that. So I kind of just grew up around it. I just grew up around real estate talk, and it kind of got into my bones. And so when I moved out here, I got married in 2018, but I moved out here in 2016, got a real job, just kind of did what everybody does at first. And I realized pretty quickly, I'm like, I am born to not work for somebody else. I'm born to be an entrepreneur. Right. And so I kind of, got into it. I was researching for a really, really long time, just kind of like, hey, every time I had a question, I would go on YouTube, I would go on Google, and I would look it up, how to find a flip, how to find an off-market deal, how do I analyze a deal, what's a good flip, what's a good rental, how do you buy apartments, and I would just research all day long, every day. Pretty much in all of my spare time, I was researching how to invest in real estate. And so I had a real job with a dentist, and this dentist was I was their manager, office manager for a little while. All right. Great job. And then COVID happened, obviously. And so it's crazy because COVID kind of shook it up for a lot of people. It kind of just moved people in a lot of different directions. And so for me, I was laid off. And so all of their production had basically gone to zero overnight. So they had to shut everything down. The government was closing things, quarantine. So I'm laid off, but I've been wanting to get into real estate this whole time, right? So I'm like, okay, perfect opportunity. And I just jumped it right in, just head first. So I did a real estate agent course that took 2 weeks. I got my real estate license. Most people take 4 months to get that. And I did it in 2 weeks. It was like a crash course. I was like, all right, let's do this if I'm going to do it. So I jumped right in and got my license, joined a team that did kind of investment stuff. I've purchased a luxury fix and flip. At this point, I've done several deals. And yeah, I'm just kind of enjoying the entrepreneur life at this point.
That's really awesome. And, I like what you said on 2 points that I can agree. I am totally on the same level with you on one, believing like you're meant for more, right? A lot of people I feel like nowadays feel like they are meant for more, but there's maybe some kind of discouragement or something in their life. Maybe it's that job that drains that away from them, and maybe having them questioning themselves of, okay, I don't know if maybe I am meant for this. Maybe I'm meant to just be right here. So I know that you said that you grew up, with I believe you said your grandmother and your father who were in real estate and whatnot. So how would you say, what was it with you? Would you say it was that really helped you and kept you going, like, this is what I'm meant to do? Or I guess the better way to say it is, what helped you keep a level-headed, focused mindset of, this is what I'm going to do, this is what I am meant to do, rather than being told, okay, you need to maybe settle for less, you need to think about this, and this. So what was that for you? What was that like for you?
It's a great question. I was very analytical, I feel like, about it. I just 90% of the world's millionaires were made in real estate. So I looked at that and I just said, look, basically people either make their money in real estate and keep it in real estate, or and this was through my research, I found this, or they make their money elsewhere and they end up putting it in real estate. So I just said, look, I've already got this huge advantage because I have my dad who's been doing this for 30 plus years now. and I can ask him about anything, and I've got this huge kind of edge on the market. Why don't I just do real estate? So at first I was kind of thinking, at first I was just, hey, let me get a job to pay the bills. That was first. And then from there, I was kind of like paycheck to paycheck. And it was so stressful for me. At a certain point, I said, look, I've got to figure out how I'm going to make some more money.
Right.
And that's when I started kind of researching, hey, should I do like digital marketing, which I know you know a lot about?
Yeah.
Should I start doing, Amazon FBA? Should I do like Shopify? Should I do real estate? And I saw all these gurus and they're all teaching you stuff. And I kind of just cut down to it where I'm like, okay, for me, I think this is going to be the best way for me to go. And obviously from there, it took about 3.5 years before I actually got to be full time. So, I
Okay.
mean, even right there, I think it goes to show you that unless you're single and you are a high school student and you don't have any bills, you don't have any kind of responsibilities, unless you're that person, it may take a tremendous amount of patience and time before you actually get to jump into your dream, which I feel like I'm living right now. So like even right now, I'm in the beginning phases. Like I said, I've only been doing this for a year full time, but you get to be somebody and you get to kind of create your own destiny and forge your own path. And that's what I love about being, working for myself, entrepreneur, whatever you want to call it. I like that I'm in control, even though I work, literally, I probably work 12, 16, 18-hour days most days. I'm working more than the average person. However, I like it more than if I was working 8 hours for somebody else because I'm in control. I get to decide and I get to set my own pace. So that's what I love about it, man. And I get to, one more thing, I get to like, before it was like, okay, I'm going to work for what is it, $18 an hour, $20 an hour, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that just didn't seem like enough for me to stay motivated. Now I'm working for, okay, $100,000. Okay, I'm working for $20,000. I'm working for $10,000. And those carrots are like enough to get me up in the morning, if that makes sense. So,
right.
yeah.
It's the thought process of I'm willing to spend, like you were saying, like 12, 16, 18-hour days if it means I get to work, improve myself to land this $100,000 deal rather than,
Exactly.
spending, typically on average 40 hours or more, overtime for other people just to make 15, 18, $20 and whatnot. And I really love how you have that perspective into it because it's also a matter of not only are you in something that's giving you more in return, but at the same time, you're finding something that you're enjoying. Like you even just said, like, okay, like with the potential value I can get back from this, now like that's enough for me to be excited when I get up in the morning. That's enough for me to be excited to continue to work and grind and hustle and do everything that I need to do. And I gotta congratulate you for that, honestly, man. That's really, really awesome that you do that. Now, one other thing that you were saying, and you were saying this in the beginning of it, and I'm really glad that you said so, is you're only a year in, right? But like with everything that you've had to your advantage, like your dad helping you and continue work, you said patience, right? So I think that one of the number one things that not so much slow people down, but why people don't start is because they don't realize they have to have patience. So how were you able, because you even said you were stressed out, you were frustrated at certain times, like paycheck to paycheck. How were you able to just stay focused on like, hey, this is not going to happen overnight. This is not going to happen in a week, a month, maybe 2 months. So how did you just keep going? Like, what was it that kept you going that was able to allow you to have that patience?
Yeah, I think it was a combination of, hey, I'm staring down the barrel of the real world, and I had bills to pay and stuff like that. I'm doing Postmates. I'm doing things that I never thought I would have to do in order to just make a little extra money each month. And then it turned into, okay, get a better job, that was paying more, and then I'm saving. And then I think it really just, and while I was working that job, it was looking, after hours or on lunch breaks for a fix and flip deal that I could buy, and, trying to like do real estate on the side. And I'm also a youth pastor, so I'm like super busy. And I just had too many things going on. And I think it was just a combination of just the real world and realizing like, hey, if I'm going to do this, I'm not going to lose money. Like I'm going to do this the right way. I'm going to make sure that I make money. I can do it. And so it really, it was almost like fate, I would say, in
Hmm.
a way that it just took. However, even in my mind, it doesn't feel like it took so long. Like 3.5 years sounds like a long time, but I was
Right.
researching for a good year and a half, knowing that I wasn't even ready to jump in. And then at probably year two, I was like, okay, where's my deal? Trying to wholesale something, trying to find a fix and flip, stuff like that, and not finding them, or if I did find it, the deal fell through or something like that. And then it became okay, like, you know, where's the next one? Where's the next one? And then COVID happened and I was laid off. And it was like, okay, then I'll just jump straight in because it made sense at that point. I'm already doing it on the side. Am I making any money at it? No, but I'm already doing it basically. And so
Right.
when I go full time, no, I'm going to make something is kind of how my thought process was. So, I was putting in 10 hours a week in real estate for 3.5 years, making zero money. And now that I'm full time, I'm making several deals per month, and stuff like that, where it's paying the bills. But it took that year, couple, 3 to 3.5 years of preparation to really get me ready for this. And I guess speaking to like young entrepreneurs, right, who are listening, it's like you have to know that you're ready for this. And
Hmm.
there's so many gurus that just tell you, hey, jump in. And so, for me, it was like, hey, jump in when I know that it's a fix
Right.
and flip. I had looked at probably, I want to say 100 deals, 120 deals, maybe 150 deals before I found the one that I was like, I'm
Wow.
doing this. And I was searching the MLS one day and I was like, it was in Tucson. So I'm in Phoenix and I have a way that I search for things. And I found this one and it's 3,000 square feet and it's next to, I don't know if you guys, when you were here, you went to maybe Culinary Dropout when you were in Phoenix, but it's a really big kind of like hip restaurant here in Phoenix. And they have several locations. One's near Tucson, and it's like where all the college kids like to hang out. So it's right next
Hmm.
to Culinary Dropout. It's right next to some really cool restaurants. It was built in the 40s, and at first looks, I'm like, okay, like it looks like it could be a deal. Let's run. All of a sudden, I start seeing like 600,000, 700,000 in that same square footage, and this one's listed at 300,000. So I'm like, oh shoot, like I could make some money at this. So I sent it over to my team lead at the time, and I said, hey, what do you think? And he started looking around. He's like, dude, this is a deal. I can't believe it. And it's just listed on the MLS. Like I didn't have to go knock on anybody's door. I didn't have to cold call anybody. Like they want to sell it at that price. So we ended up getting it under contract at 290 and got the money lined up. And, we got the deal done. It's almost finished. It should be done like in a couple of weeks. And then we'll have it on the MLS for somewhere around 700,000 to 800,000.
Wow.
So, the expected profit on that is like $100,000 to $200,000. So, it took though looking at so many deals before I found that one that I'm like, this is a deal. And so got money partners on it, got a loan on it. So many people, they just jump into a deal thinking, oh, it needs work. I can put some paint on it. I can put some floors in there and, somebody's going to buy it and I'm going to make 20 grand. If this is something that my dad taught me, you really you really make your money on a flip when you buy it. You don't make your money
Hmm.
when you sell it, because if you can buy it at the right price, no matter what comes your way, you're going to open up those walls. There are going to be problems. There's no
Right.
doubt in my mind you're going to find something that was unexpected. So if you can get it at the right price, it doesn't matter what you find in that house, you're going to make money on it. So you really make your money when you buy it. And so I knew that, going into it. And so that's, I think, some of the keys as to like, I guess how I was so patient was just knowing I don't want to lose money. I know entrepreneurship is a risk. I know doing a fix and flip is a risk. I'm buying a house, I'm signing my name on a debt. So I wanted it to be right. And so I just waited to pull the trigger until it was right, basically.
That's awesome. That's really, really awesome. And I got to thank you so much for sharing that part about the process of even getting into real estate and how that showing how that patience paid off. I mean, you were basically saying, hey, I was studying 10 hours for about, what you say, a year and a half. And I'm thinking to myself, like, a lot of people nowadays, it's just like, when they hear like, wow, that's how much time I need to put in to be good at this, to understand this or whatnot. But I think a lot of people don't realize, what you said right there, that's patience. You know what I mean? Like 24 hours a day, just spending 10 hours studying and just working, just like, I am going to make this happen. Like that is patience. That is true, dedication and grind to it. And I applaud you for that so much. And I think a lot of times people realize they want the shortcut. They want the now. They want
Right.
I want this in a week, a month, or whatnot. But you kept going like, hey, 10 hours, 10 hours, 10 hours. Even though it's a year and a half, two, or even whatever it may be, it's paying off. And like right now, from where you're at right now, I mean, it's showing that it's paying off. And like you said, you only just started. So I mean, having that coming from you,
Right.
where you are having that grind, where you have that mentality, and then you're just very new in this field, just going to show how far you yourself as an individual is going to go up in this field. And I'm actually I'm very blessed, man, that you actually shared that part of the story. Seriously, that's so much. So I just have two more questions for you. So when it comes to failure, right? Because a lot of people do question themselves oftentimes of, like, what if this happens? What if this doesn't go right? Now, what would you say? How would you answer somebody, focusing so much on the negative, but rather why not like focus on the positive? Like oftentimes people say, well, what if I fail? What if I don't make money from this? How do you think we can get people to see the, what if this does work out for you? What if this will happen for you? Like, how can you, what would you say is the secret, or not so much the secret, but what would you say the tool is to get behind that, to switch that mindset?
Yeah. What a great question. I would say, for me, I just realized one day, and I think it was probably through my research into different fields where people have made a lot of money, was the only way to guarantee that you won't make a lot of money is to never try anything and never put your foot out in the water and potentially, get your foot bit off by a shark. Like you got to take the risk. And when
Absolutely.
you take that risk, there's the potential that you could completely fall on your face. But, one of the people that I kind of met and, they really inspired me was this guy who's a financial advisor, really successful guy. And he said, I don't know if having a negative attitude guarantees you anything in life. He said, no, I'm sorry, I got that completely wrong. I don't know if having a positive attitude guarantees you anything in life, but he said, I do know what a negative attitude guarantees you. And it's that you're going to miss out on a lot of opportunities because you have this skepticism and this narcissism about everything that comes your way. And so I just decided I don't want to be that way.
Mhm.
I don't want to be scared. I just want to, be smart. And so I try to look at things really realistically. I don't want to look at anything and say, oh my God, we're going to make so much money. I'm guaranteed this cash. When really it could be a huge risk, so with my flips are huge risk, huge reward.
Right.
With rentals, it's safe and passive income. Be on a
Oh,
huge. So the problem is that some people think, oh, I could make all this money on a flip. That's what I want to focus on, and they end up losing. That's how a lot of like developers lose their shirts, is because they jump in and they get in too deep. And so I try to be realistic about things, but not skeptical. Not
right.
too skeptical, I should say. And so people who are, contemplating getting in to something, and there's risk involved, I would just say, inventory what you have to lose. How big of a risk is this? And I think some of the most successful people, they would generally rather waste, a years of their life, but not lose their house and foreclose and go bankrupt, then, like I'd rather like spend all this energy, time, and effort than spend a bunch of money and then go bankrupt.
Right.
So I think kind of taking inventory of like, how big is this risk financially to me? And I'm willing to put in the work as long as I'm not going to go bankrupt. So, on this flip that I have, for example, the worst case scenario was that I break even. And I ran the numbers a million different ways. I'm like, the worst case scenario is I break even. I'm not going to lose any money. I'm not going to go bankrupt, so worst case, I go down there and I live in the house for 6 months and I fix it all up myself, right? What do I have to lose? Just my time. So
Right.
at that point, it was a no-brainer for me. So if you can inventory kind of what you have to lose, what you have to gain, and just look at things from a non-emotional perspective, as much as you can, and just get really analytical, I think that helps a lot with just kind of overcoming fear in general, especially now I'm an agent in sales type position. What do I have to lose from going into that listing appointment? They're
Right.
going to, laugh me off and say, oh, you're too young, or you don't know what you're talking about, or whatever. It's like, if the only thing that guarantees I'm not going to get the listing is if I never go in. If I go in, there's a chance that I might get it. So you just look at things, kind of from a almost just analytical perspective. And that's how I've overcome a lot of fear in my life. And, maybe that will help somebody.
Right. That thank you so much for sharing that answer. That was absolutely phenomenal. I mean, it's literally just like that. It's kind of the same thing I like to tell people as well is, people who have doubts in themselves or whatever they want to do. And I tell them the only way you can lose is if you stop, right? The only way you can lose is if you don't push forward, right? Like failure is going to come, right? A lot of people are afraid of failure, what's going to happen, right? But it's a matter of also thinking and remembering how important is this to you, right? It also comes back to like, what are you doing this for? Who are you doing this for? And I think if people have like a solid foundation of that, when they understand like, okay, I have my priorities of what I want to do, who I'm doing this for, at that point, failure isn't even, you don't even consider it an option at that point. You just say, if I'm going to fall flat on my face, I'm going to get right back up, right? And you only get better and better. So I really love that you touched upon that. So Josiah, I just have one last question for you. And the last question is, what is one piece of advice that you want to give to other people who are maybe into real estate, other entrepreneurs who are watching this, or anybody who's been watching this and they have felt something from this, like that's really like sparked something and it's, waking them up from something. What's your one piece of advice you want to leave off for people?
Man, we've already dropped so much,
Yeah, we
but
really have. We really have.
I would say, get into real estate. I love real estate. It has literally changed my life, and it's so beautiful in the way that you can make so much money in it, and you can create a lifestyle that is incredible. And you can also just decrease your stress level. You know what I mean? Like having passive income come in every month is basically my goal, because I just don't want to have the stress of that paycheck to paycheck feeling where if I don't go into work today, I'm not paying my bills.
Right.
That right there scared me so much. And that's what put me into real estate in the first place. So I think, real estate is really awesome. Obviously, other entrepreneurial things are too, but real estate, the tax benefits, the debt, you can borrow so much money in real estate because it's applied to a hard asset. And it's just a beautiful thing. So get into real estate is my advice.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, Josiah, thank you so much. And I know that you have your own website. Is that right?
I do. Yeah, it is in the link below, I believe, if you want to
Yep.
check that out.
Yep. I'll touch, yep, I'm gonna touch Josiah's website in the link below. Connect with this guy, after talking to this guy. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, there's a few things I just learned, but there's also a few more things that's really even, not gonna lie, fired me up to keep going as well with what I'm doing. So Josiah, I mean, thank you again so much for being on. Thank you everybody who's been watching this. Please definitely hit up Josiah. I'll put down his Facebook, Instagram if he has it, his website as well. And until then, guys, thank you so much for watching this. And I'll see you guys in the next episode. Josiah, thank you so much, man.
Thanks, Tavion. Really enjoyed having me on. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you.